Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the heathen, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in this law does he hide it at sunrise and sundown. Him a go there like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth fruit in his season. Him leaf never a go wither, and whatsoever him doeth shall prosper. Yea! The heathen them now there, so them there like a chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the heathen them never go stand upon the judgment of the sinner man them in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord God Jah loveth the way of the righteous and the way of the sinner man them always and always. I will perish. Let my people, the people of the Most High God, say Jah! Kadamawe grumabe la Igzag beer tanaista lina bashante shante 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 shante. Kadamawe grumabe la where two centuries meet in the name of the Most High Jah. That's so Jaja de. If Jaja never build up your house, the builder I go build it in vain same way. If Jaja never watch upon your house, the watchman I go watch it in vain. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it and them is safe. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Jah shall deliver him from all of them. And I give thanks and I says unto your name, King of kings and Lord of lords, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Amasa Yahuda Amasa, the gusto Danielam. Koma ya sataya. Ayanaya pio aya. Kadamawe grumabe. Au mauso bolisa. Adanu wato ewo asikle afo. How ma usobolisa. Akpe kaka. This is the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushodemo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Blakk RASTA. In every traditional African home there is a Blakk Pot, and each time this Blakk Pot sits on the fire, there is something extra sumptuous cooking. Ingredients of so many different types, shapes, and sizes find their way into the Blakk Pot, putting aside all their differences. And as they relocate, they are subjected to some amount of heating, and they produce what is known as food. Interestingly, the food does not even benefit the Blakk Pot, neither does it benefit the ingredients directly. But each time, the collaborative effort will still be on to produce food for us, the eaters. Same way, think about this. The Blakk Pot is so symbolical of the African continent, and the ingredients in the Blakk Pot that produce the food certainly represent us, the people of Africa. We must always come together, put aside all our differences of color, skin shade, creed, religion, faith, and come together to produce development for our people, our continent, our land. This is the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonomo, and this is the Joshua generation. We are the generation of tree planters, generational thinkers. We know we might not live long enough to benefit from the shade of the trees we are planting today, but those little seedlings will grow to benefit generations yet to come, and that in itself is enough for us as a people. This is the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonomo. Here we don't talk politics. If you are waiting to hear politics, we don't do that here. What we do is called what? Patriotism. We are looking at rewiring the mindset of our people. It's all about the mindset. If the mindset of the average African is right, every other thing will be righted. Watch me now. So many of our leaders are only concentrating on the physical, tangible things that they can see and touch. Roads, schools, hospitals. They are not looking at the intangible one. Right there, the mindset. But once that mindset is worked on and righted, Africa would be the capital of the world. We have the power. If you agree, say yes, Rasta. This is the Black Pot, aka Kuku Shodomo. Here we don't criticize. But once in a while we do. Only that to build and not to destroy. This is the Black Pot, aka Kuku Shodomo. And remember, we are live on Pan-African TV. Africa's only Pan-African TV, also live on Loud Silence TV. Super live on Black Empire TV. We are specially live on Ghana Web TV. We are also live on YouTube. Remember to follow us on YouTube. In fact, subscribe to our YouTube page. Our YouTube channel is called Black Empire Media. Black Empire Media. Click on the notification button so that you will not miss any story we bring up to you. We are also on all other social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. This is the Black Pot and time for action. Today we have 5 very solid stories we want to bring up to you. Number 1. Watch it. Watch it. It's rolling. Aremeyaw falls flat to Kennedy Agyapong. Who is Aremeyaw? This is the man, an investigative journalist. He's one man so many Ghanaians love and appreciate. He's one man who has worked very hard in the past and even now to be able to bring some level of decency in the Ghanaian society. His mantra is very simple. Name and shame the bad guys. But there has been one man who has ardently stood against his methods. This is Kennedy Agyapong. He is vying to become the flag bearer of his NPP party. And a lot of people are fighting him. According to him, the president himself doesn't seem to like him too much. He wants to be the flag bearer of his party. And he hopes to move on to become the president of this country. In fact, Aremeyaw sued this man, Kennedy Agyapong, in 2018, and the case lingered. It only ended yesterday, Wednesday, the 15th day of March 2023. Interesting. Now let us look at the details of the story. Court dismisses Anas's 25 million Ghana cedi defamation suit against Kennedy Agyapong. Do me a favor. Come here. Watch this. The Accra High Court has dismissed the 25 million defamation suit against Kennedy Agyapong brought by investigative journalist Aremeyaw. The judge, Justice Eric Ban, held that Aremeyaw failed to prove that Kennedy Agyapong defamed him by airing the documentary Who Watches the Watchman, but rather the documentary exposed shady deals that Anas and his associates were involved in. This was after Anas in 2018 sued the new Patriotic Party member of parliament for allegedly defaming him. Anas prayed to the court to award 25 million Ghana cedis against Mr. Agyapong to compensate him for the defamatory material published against him by the MP. The court concluded that what Anas is engaged in is not investigative journalism, but rather investigative terrorism. And that Agyapong was justified to call Anas a blackmailer, corrupt, and an extortionist, and evil. I find the claims by the plaintiff, Aremeyaw, meritless, and they are hereby dismissed. Justice Ban ruled. Listen, come here. Aremeyaw sued him in 2018. The matter went to court and it lingered for 5 years. Kennedy Agyapong, according to this ruling, has won and he has been talking. What has Kennedy Agyapong said? Kennedy Agyapong speaks after defeating Anas in court. A senior central member of parliament, Kennedy Agyapong has said that his legal victory against investigative journalist Aremeyaw Anas is a victory for former president of the Ghana Football Association, that's GFA, Kwesi Nyantakyi, who was captured in Anas's investigative work dubbed Number 12, which uncovered rots in Ghana football. The Accra High Court on Wednesday, March 15, dismissed the 25 million defamation suit against Kennedy Agyapong brought by investigative journalist Aremeyaw Anas. Come here. The judge, Justice Eric Ban, held that Aremeyaw Anas failed to prove that Ken Agyapong defamed him by airing the documentary Who Watches the Watchman, but rather the documentary exposed shady deals that Anas and his associates were involved in. This was after Anas in 2018 sued the New Patriotic Party member of parliament for allegedly defaming him. Anas prayed the court to award 25 million Ghana cedis against Mr. Agyapong to compensate him for the defamatory material published against him by the MP. The court concluded that what Aremeyaw Anas is engaged in is not investigative journalism, but what? Investigative terrorism. And that Kennedy Agyapong, listen attentively, is justified to call Anas a blackmailer, a corrupt person, an extortionist, an evil. That's an evilous person. That's what he said. Now, speaking to journalists after the court hearing, Mr. Kennedy Agyapong said, we have to be bold to speak the truth. Anas goes ahead to allegedly defame people and gets away. It is only in this country that a journalist covers his face to go and give witness while Supreme Court judges are sitting there. This man was in court. And here it's almost like saying, you see what I've been saying all this while? Listen, to those of us who did not follow the number 12 documentary that Aremeyaw Anas released, the documentary saw the former president of the GFA, Ghana Football Association, this man who had been in there for a very long time, taking money from a supposed investor. And we heard this man in the documentary saying that he would help this foreigner come to Ghana and together they would take over the whole of the country. He also talked about other businesses he was engaged in. Later we heard that Opongwea had also gone to the same location as plotted by Anas to meet all these people, name them and shame them. We all saw that documentary. Now the judge says, in fact, it is not investigative journalism, it is rather investigative terrorism. Come here, let's analyze it. Kennedy Agyapong says, this is the only man in the world who covers his face and goes to court. Of course, he's protecting his identity. He's accepted. He is protecting his identity. The kind of work he does is very, very dangerous, especially when we live in a country where people are so corrupt, yet they do not want their evilous acts to be spread out on the streets. In America, in England, the courts would give equal opportunities to other citizens who are involved in acts like this, and their identities will be sealed. In several occurrences, we have seen how people have gone to court and we don't see them in court. It's their lawyers who are representing them because their identities must be sealed. Other times, they are asked to testify in camera and so many other things. So this is not a crime. But the interesting thing I want to share with you right now is, having lost this suit for now, what is Aremeyaw Anas saying? The Tiger IPI, which is Aremeyaw Anas's outfit, has responded. And I want us to look at this. Expand it so we can read it better. Come here. Come. Expand it. Let's see if we can read it better. Now, when you read what Aremeyaw Anas has written here, Tiger IPI is very simple. They have heard that yes, they have lost the case, but they are asking questions. Now, this case from 2018 has gone into the hands of two other judges. This is the third one, Aremeyaw, handling this case. Now, who chose this lawyer or who chose this judge? Tiger IPI, Africa's leading private investigative firm. And it says statement of the judgment of Justice Eric Ban in the case of Aremeyaw Anas versus Kennedy Agyapong, suit number GJ892/18. That means in 2018 it started. Today, Wednesday, 15th March 2023, a high court presided over by Eric Ban J dismissed a defamation action filed by Aremeyaw Anas of Tiger PI in 2018 against Kennedy Agyapong MP. The entire judgment was read in open court. 2. The court established that Mr. Agyapong indeed defamed Anas, but in a bizarre twist concluded that the so-called documentary Who Watches the Watchman was an absolute justification, thereby absolving Mr. Agyapong of any liability. Number 3, we find the decision of the court an unfortunate travesty of justice and very inimical to the administration of justice and fairness. If for nothing at all, Mr. Agyapong made an allegation of murder against Mr. Anas. There is absolutely nothing contained in the said documentary which alludes to the commission of murder or an allegation of the commission of murder by Mr. Anas. Thus, the documentary cannot provide any justification for an allegation of murder in the wildest imagination. Yet, the judge conveniently ignored this obvious fact and the fact that Mr. Anas is not a suspect for murder and is not under investigation for murder. This case traveled through the hands of 3 judges, with Justice Ban being the latest assigned to the case. Instance of Kennedy Agyapong. It means Kennedy Agyapong was the one who chose this judge to sit on the case, according to what we are reading here. Throughout the trial, Mr. Agyapong displayed absolute disdain and disrespect of the court and the lawyers of Anas, but all attempts to cite him for contempt hit a dead end. Number 5, we note that Mr. Agyapong attended court in the company of Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi, as you were told earlier. That's the former president of the GFA, who Anas was able to nail in a documentary known as Number 12. And of course, he was taken out of office. But see his punishment, who has been banned for 15 years from all football-related activities. Tiger PI. Tiger IPI and our CEO, Aremeyaw Anas, remain resolute in our fight against corruption in the Ghanaian society in the service to God and country. And it ends. Hallelujah. Interesting. Wow. Come here. So Aremeyaw Anas and the Tiger IPI, they are alleging that Kennedy Agyapong was the one who chose this last judge to sit on the case. In fact, they intercepted a certain letter written by Kennedy Agyapong saying that he wanted that judge to sit on the case. And my big question to them, why did they not fight this earlier? But they believed that they had overwhelming evidence against Kennedy Agyapong. They had over 20 allegations against Kennedy Agyapong, and all of them fell flat in the wake of this judgment. And as Aremeyaw Anas says, he will never stop fighting corruption in the country. But this seems to be a dent on the image of Anas. Or what do you think? Do you see some corruption somewhere? Who actually chose this judge to sit on the case? Do we have a letter to show that Kennedy Agyapong actually wrote that letter and the CJ, that's the Chief Justice, decided to handpick this judge as dictated to him by Kennedy Agyapong? He sat on the case and he ignored all the merits of what Anas presented and nailed him and gave Kennedy Agyapong the leeway, the right to call him corrupt, evil, an extortionist, and so on and so forth. The judge went ahead to say, what you are doing is not investigative journalism. It is called investigative terrorism. I don't think I agree. I don't agree. In fact, when I heard some of these things, as somebody who is a backbencher, it smacks of some personal vindictiveness against Anas. That's what I think. It sounds so personal. What you are doing is not investigative journalism. What you are doing is called investigative terrorism. Anas has been endorsed by the BBC. CNN also shows his work. When President Obama came into this country, he applauded him. I'm not sure all these entities will go ahead to applaud an investigative terrorist. Why is it that we have a problem with this? Is it politically underpinned? Is somebody somewhere angry that his best friend has been nailed or his best friends have been caught in the web? In fact, Kennedy Agyapong, after this ruling, said that the president Nana Akufo-Addo and his vice president Bawumia must come out publicly and apologize for sacking Edubuahin. You remember Edubuahin in the Ministry of Finance, in Anas's latest expose, this guy was caught in it, and the president had to sack him. They caught him bragging about taking money to help the vice president with his campaign. If this is not journalism, I don't know what it is. If we are going to continue like this, I am afraid that well-meaning Ghanaians are all going to throw their hands up in despair. Remember what the former president Atamil said. He said, thank you so much to Aremeyaw Anas. Today we are able to see that some people are hiding behind masks. Before this president, Nana Akufo-Addo, came into power, Kennedy Agyapong's president, the NPP's president, what did he say? That he would use the Anas principle to catch the bad guys. That was what Nana Akufo-Addo said before he became president. He's somebody who respects Aremeyaw Anas. And he's a senior lawyer, even though many people say he has no certificate of law. Senior lawyer. He doesn't see it as investigative terrorism. Where did we go wrong? Is Anas a thorn in the flesh of the bad guys? Or better still, is he corrupt sometimes? I'm asking. Because Kennedy Agyapong says he has enriched himself and made so much money from blackmailing people. But let's look at Kennedy Agyapong. With all respect, Kennedy Agyapong's greatest power is to sit on his TV or radio and mention the names of people involved in corruption with no evidence or very little evidence. He said that about Kweku Baako. Kweku Baako dragged him to court and he fell flat. Kweku Baako came out and said, he's loud mouth for nothing, he's very empty. Not my words. What Kennedy Agyapong does is to find out who you are sleeping with, whose wife you once dated, and then he comes, and that's his evidence. He most of the time would not go into the content of the issue. He rather looks at your personal life. What drugs you smoked some time ago, how your father's saw is so smelly, everybody's running away from this person. how your mother was a prostitute in 1700. These are the things I hear Kennedy Agyapong saying. Of course, sometimes he says things that impress me too. You see, everybody has the right to speak truth to power, as he said. Fear nobody. Speak truth to power, even if it will affect you. The same spirit that he says he has, we have it too. When you are going to equity, go with what? Clean hands. The story lingers on. Aremeyaw Anas has fallen flat. But, should I say it? He's going to appeal. I spoke with Aremeyaw Anas's lawyer, and he says, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We are appealing. In fact, this judgment, we have heard it. We respect the courts, but it stinks. That's what I think. It stinks. I don't see any justice in there. That's what I think. That's what I think. With all respect, the courts have said it. But as citizens, we have the right to disagree. I disagree. Anas might be corrupt. But in this case, we saw everything right. If you have any evidence of Anas's corruption presented, they presented Who Watches the Watchman. And they claim that it is enough evidence to show that Anas Aremeyaw is. I saw Who Watches the Watchman. I didn't see that. Maybe I'm visually impaired. Come here! Next story. Watch it. This is Ghana's next president, and I'm happy. Nana Akufo-Addo, the sleepy president. The sleeping president is going. Hallelujah. 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 I don't like this president one bit. He's a very hypocritical president. Yes, Africa without aid. Ghana without aid. Africans must come together. We have a lot of riches. Why must we depend on aid? The next minute, he's knocking on the doors of the IMF, begging for money. What a hypocrite. Bring his photograph. Let me address him. One of the most hypocritical presidents we have seen in this country. This is the same president, Nana Akufo-Addo. The lying president. And when they are old like that and they lie, they feel no shame. It's so sad. In my days, old men never lied. But these old men, we will speak to them. Truth in their face, we will throw that to them. Hear me now. The same Nana Akufo-Addo sat down here and his own chief advisor deported a certain Aisha Huang. Twice or thrice she had been sent out of Ghana and she returned. Even after the almighty deportation, the final one. She was back in Ghana in a matter of days. Now she's been arrested and she's in court. What did the president say? They said they deported her, but I'm not even sure if they did. Because you were sleeping, Mr. President. You don't know what is happening around you. Maybe you are too old to be president. Maybe you're suffering from something we cannot say on TV. Maybe dyslexia. I don't know. Hear me now, Mr. President. I'm so ashamed that you are the president of this country. Dash him away. I'm so ashamed of this president. Honestly, I am. Full of lies. E-LEVY. We all saw the political gymnastics. All of a sudden, road tolls are coming back. We'll talk about that later in the show. This is the president who is toying with the nation. Oh, Russia is an enemy. We have seen Wagner all over Burkina Faso, and we fear that they might come in and slaughter us. The next moment, we see 600,000 barrels of oil coming from Russia. What did they tell us? Oh, it's from Kazakhstan. Come here. You think we are jokers? We also have life. You don't have two lives. You have one. We have one too. You are not more a Ghanaian than us. This is the president we are dealing with. Everybody wants him to go. There are kind people who say, "Ye pranechi. Ye pranechi." I don't know what that means. We are sweeping his feet off. Let him go. Nobody wants to remember this nightmare of a president. I don't like him because he has destroyed this country. You know why I'm so bitter? And I pray that this bitterness goes away. Yes, we have so much hope in this guy. You all heard me on radio and on TV touting and heralding his arrival. And it's on tape. Everybody can go check it out. Praise this man suffering from dwarfism. Heralded him into power because we thought he was going to be that Pan-Africanist. Remember, he used to be a card-bearing member of the CPP, Kwame Nkrumah's party. At the time of removing Kwame Nkrumah in 1966, we were told that he was even going to be rounded up. In fact, he was rounded up, but for his father's and father's political leanings. The terrorist UGCC and the UP party and all those guys, he was freed. Remember, his father was a ceremonial president. So we all want him out. I don't like him. I've not hidden it from him. If I meet him and he stretches a hand, I will hold it and say, "How are you, sir?" Respect for old age and all that. But as president, he is the biggest nightmare we have seen. Worse than Rawlings. Worse than Afrifa and the rest who came and led, albeit a short period. Now there's another old man who is stepping in the shoes of this president. This man, he's so confused. This man used to be a great man when he was working with the Food and Agriculture Organization. His father was the chief linguist of the great Asante. He was the one who led the so-called NLM. He was the founding member of that party, National Liberation Movement. And their sign was this. You know why it's like this? We are together. They wanted to break away from this country. I'm bringing this history so you get to understand why he should be the next president, this man. From that time, when his father was preaching Akanism, remember these NPP people, the UP tradition and all those gangs. They are not party men, they are gangs. Kwame Nkrumah was the one who came in and turned around their Tea Party into a full-fledged party. He traveled all the way into every nook and cranny, from Takwa all the way down to Tamale, to Navrongo, to all those places, preaching in buses and in parks, getting people to come together for the first time in the history of Africa. Kwame Nkrumah became the first man who saw the power of women in politics and unleashed them onto the political platform so that the UGCC will grow. When they saw the power of Kwame Nkrumah, they didn't like it. They didn't want their cocoa money to be used to aid any other part of Ghana. They wanted to break away. The Ashanti Kingdom wanted to break away totally from the rest of Ghana. They didn't know that one day there will be oil found somewhere outside the Ashanti region. They didn't know that, some other day would come when gold will be found outside the Ashanti region and some other such minerals. They were so myopic. This man's father, Bafo Yakoto was his name. Today this man comes in. Of course, he cannot be a member of the CPP. He's not an Nkrumahist. He comes from the background of the bomb makers and bomb throwers. The NPP, the UP, the NLM. This guy, he became the agric minister. Some people said, he failed. Other people said, well, he managed to do something. Whatever he did, my brother, my sister, we didn't suffer too much from hunger in this country. Food prices were high, fine, but we never went around scavenging like other countries did. Give him some credit. Now he wants to be president. This man has gone to several meetings where he slept and snored more than the sleeping president. They are age mates. Maybe they used to play golf together. So this sleepy old president has inspired him to be president. And look at the embarrassment he has put himself in. Some people say embarrassment, but I am saying that the mask has just fallen off his face. You know, when people wear a mask and then you all of a sudden realize that the mask has fallen off their face, you say they have changed. No, they have not changed. It's just the mask that has fallen off. It's deep for some people to understand. I want to be president because I want to be NPP flag bearer. Hey! Hey! Bring back the headline. You think say you day wise. Rono. I want to be president because I want to be NPP flag bearer. Did you hear that? He was asked in an interview, sir, why do you want to be president? Just yesterday. Oh, I want to be I want to be president because I want to be NPP flag bearer. Are you okay? Rono, are you okay? You think say you day wise. Some people don't understand what he said. I will break it down. Next page, come in. What does he say? He says the presidential seat is arguably one of the envious positions in the country due to the authority it wields. Personalities who look to capture power also hold varied perspectives as to the rationale. Ahead of the 2024 elections, many names have popped up in this regard from the two leading political parties, National Democratic Congress, NDC, and New Patriotic Party, NPP, selling messages of hope and an upgrade in the living standards of Ghanaians when giving the nod. Come here. Watch it. Former Agricultural Minister Dr. Owusu Efriyakoto is one of the politicians soliciting support to be NPP's flag bearer. But Dr. Akoto says his will to contribute to the NPP underpins this commitment. What a write-up. Bring it back. Bring it back. But Dr. Akoto says his will to contribute to the NPP, not Ghana, underpins his commitment. You think say you day wise. Hey! He gave this indication when he spoke with Evans Mensah, my former colleague, on Joy News 6 p.m. Express on Monday. Evans Mensah had asked the question, why do you want to be president? His answer was this: I want to be president because I want to be the flag bearer of NPP. Dr. Akoto, who is amongst the 9 people eyeing the flag bearership position of the NPP, said the number of votes the party polls during a general election is dwindling. So he wants to come in and increase it. The Dagombes have a saying that when a snake is lying down and you want to describe a snake to a child, you don't bring a stick and say a snake looks like this. That is a snake. Why don't we go and listen to him? You think say you day wise. We want to listen to him. He is about to talk. This is Dr. Efriye talking to Evans Mensah. Listen to the conversation.
Public service. So why do you want to be president?
Well, I want to be president because I want to be the flag bearer of the MPP, which is what is driving me, to give an opportunity for me to make a contribution to the New Patriotic Party. As you saw in 2020,
Oh, you are. Oh, you are. Let us decode this. Come here. You see, some people think that this man does not know what he's talking about. He knows it. He took his time, tricked everybody into thinking that he's dyslexic. He's suffering from dyslexia. And then he spoke slurringly, like a tape that is too hard to be turned in the old-time tape players. My name is Boko. Listen, these people wanted this country, Ghana, to be called Akan land. They only saw the country befitting of their Akans and nobody else. Nkrumah said, no. If we do that, yes, I'm an Akan, I'm an Zima. But if you want us to call it Akan land, we are going to lose the rest of the people. It was at the time that the Voltarians wanted to, the Northerners wanted to. But Nkrumah brought all of us together. These people wanted the nation to be called Akan land. This man's father. Osei Bafo Yaw Akoto. Find me his photograph. Osei Bafo Yaw Akoto. Bafo is spelled B-A-F-F-O-U-R. Osei Bafo Yaw Akoto. You would find a black and white photograph. Maybe sitting like a linguist. And put it out. If you get it wrong, we will correct it. Don't worry. Watch me. Some of these extemporary things happen. His father. Remember I told you earlier. We don't want to be part of these people. This man is parochially, regionally thinking about contributing to his party and not the bigger picture Ghana. No. They are not here for Ghana. They are here for Akanism. They are here for their parochial ethnicity. God has exposed this guy. Nana Akufo-Addo came into power. Go to Chebi. Now they call it Small London. When Kwame Nkrumah was in power, Nkrumah, where he was born, was one of the most deprived till he left. Even his mother's house had to be built by a certain contractor called EKO. EKO say. Don't let us go too much into history. But God is exposing these guys, these ingrates. They are people that Kwame Nkrumah sacrificed for. But they would always pay the man back with nothing but wickedness. To God be the glory. Did you find a photo? So this is the photo of this man's father. He's called Bafo Yaw Akoto of the NLM. That's him. Correct. You got it right. Clap for yourself. Recently, they tried to celebrate him. Did you see the billboards all over Accra? They wanted to celebrate him. When we return, the fire will continue to blaze. To God be the glory. I have a quote for you, and it's about confused people. Hey! Whoa!
Go on, Skipper George.
Blackpot. Cuckoo show them.
This is the Black Pot, aka Kuku Show Them, where we speak truth to power. Next story. And remember, we are live on Pan African TV, live on Loud Silence TV, loud on Black Empire TV, loud on Ghana TV. Please make sure that you follow us on social media. We are on all the social media platforms, and we are called Black Empire Media. Most importantly, make sure that you are with us on YouTube, and we are called Black Empire Media. Subscribe to our channel and click on the unification button. Did I say unification? Notification. Well, it's unification. Let's unite. Mozambique picks only 2 African countries for visa-free travel. Hey, Melisane, come here. Mozambique, this is their flag. They are the only country in the world. Bring back the flag. The only country in the world that has an AK-47 on their flag. The only country in the world that has AK-47 on their flag and the whole. And it's because of their revolutionary history. We can go deeper into this. We could go into UNITA and so many other things, but let me just spare you. This is where it is found. When you go to Zimbabwe, and I've been there, I love Zimbabwe, Zambia, oh, right across there you would find Mozambique. It's not too far away from Madagascar. Hey, and it is a very beautiful piece of land. Hey, you know Maputo? Have you ever heard of Maputo? That's the capital. So beautiful. Look at water all over the place. It's a beautiful place, but for some time now, war, fighting and killing, ratatatatata all over the place, confusion. A lot of Mozambicans are leaving the place. And you know what language they speak there, right? You know, right? You think say you day wise. Hey! You go there and you want to speak English, you will suffer. Try to learn how to speak Portuguese. Portuguese, oh. English you will suffer. French you will suffer. Spanish, a little. Mozambique just came out all of a sudden. And boom, watch this. Only 2 African countries can come to Mozambique without visa. I know the question you're asking me. Nigeria, Damon. You think say you day wise. Ghana, Damon. You think say you day wise. Rono. Mozambique announces visa exemption for 28 countries. Only 2 are from Africa. Mozambique announces visa exemption for 28 countries for tourism and business as Council of Ministers approve decree today. Hey, the exemption applies to visitors holding ordinary passports and allows for a 30-day stay, renewable to an additional 60 days. The model adopted by the Mozambican government is similar to the U.S. visa waiver program in the sense that it requires travelers to register on a platform for pre-screening at least 48 hours before traveling and to pay a processing fee of about £8.50. Look at the countries. Come here. Only 2 countries from Africa. Belgium. Belgians can go there for free. Oh. Canada, China, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany. Bam! Ghana is the first African country mentioned here. Indonesia, Israel, Italy. Ivory Coast is the second African country. It looks like there's a third African country. Third African country, right? So change the 2 to Mozambique picks only 3 African countries. The thing keeps updating. So as we're talking, they updated it. You think so you day wise. Watch this. Hey, Ivory Coast, Japan, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Senegal. That is the third African country. Why did they add Senegal? It was 2, as decided earlier. Senegal has been added. You know why? I'll tell you this. Singapore, Korea, Spain, and Sweden, Switzerland, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, Kingdom, United Kingdom, and United States of America. Hey, only 3 countries from Africa. It was originally 2. They added 1, Senegal. Senegal is also thriving. So they decided to take Senegal after some dialogue. Senegal, Ivory Coast. Senegal is a country that speaks both English and what? French. Ivory Coast, French. Ghana, English. So 1 English-speaking country, 1 French-speaking country, and a combination of the 2. That's how Senegal got added to this. 3 African countries. It looks like Ghana, our talking is helping. So we are coming up gradually. Remember, a few days ago, we were also talking about South Africa giving us a visa waiver. But why Omonaja no dey chai? Omonaja, we think they happen. Dash it away and bring me the next thing. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Okay. When we return, we'll deal with it.
Go on, Skipper George.
Blackpot. Coco show man.
We don't do politics. What we do is called patriotism, rewiring the mindset of the African people. Next story. Next story. Watch it. It says what? Phone torchlight used for surgery in Wa Hospital. Hey, Wa Hospital. Look at the hospital. They had surgery lamps, but they all got broken for 2 years now. The president is building a cathedral. So when the doctors go in there, they use their phone. Whilst they are cutting, they tie it around their head. Or they call the nurse to hold the light. In the 21st century, you are getting a visa waiver in Mozambique. Because the politicians can fly out of Ghana and get medical care. So they don't care. Phone torchlight. Doctors in Wa West use phone torch to perform surgeries 2 years after theater lamps broke down. Theater lamps at the Wa West District Hospital have not been working for almost 2 years. Doctors are therefore left with no choice but to use mobile phone torches to help them perform surgeries on patients. According to the medical superintendent of the Wa West District Hospital, the situation is impeding work at the theater in Wechau. It is really affecting service because the lamp is the second eye for both the nurses and doctors when we are doing an operation. Dr. Benjamin Ameyaw explained. Look at them. You see the phone light? They are using it to look at your intestines. We all hear the phone is not even too healthy. Dr. Benjamin Ameyaw told Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam that the development has significantly affected healthcare delivery at the facility. The medical practitioner recounted an incident where his team needed to once again improvise during a surgery performed on a man with gastric perforation, a full thickness injury of the wall of the organ of the stomach. My God. And we needed to close the hole to avoid the contents from the stomach from leaking out into the entire cavity. and I had to use 2 mobile phone lights, one on one side and another one to be able to see clearly and continue with the procedure. And this is the medical superintendent at the West District Hospital, Dr. Benjamin Ameyaw, a young doctor. He has to use phone light, one here, one there, to look at people's intestines. Shame on you. Look at the lamps. They are all broken. Broken. What's happening to us? What's happening to us? Bimbila Hospital. Electricity cut off. Dead bodies could not be contained in the morgue anymore. They were all rotten and smelling. Like Kobe, more money. All over Ghana, shortage of vaccines. I heard they had to go to Nigeria and the Ivory Coast and beg for vaccines. They are begging for everything. What a disastrous, nightmarish president. You see where you have thrown the country in? You see what you've thrown the country in? And another guy wants to be president to come and serve the MPP. Jokers in power. Dash it away! And bring me the next story. Confused E-LEVY government. That is this government. Here, come here. They told us if we allowed them to bring the E-LEVY, they will cancel what? Road tolls. They brought up political jingoisms and gymnastics in the Parliament House and succeeded in passing the demonic E-LEVY. All of a sudden, they said it failed. They are now bringing back road tolls. But if you are bringing back the road tolls, why don't you cancel the E-LEVY? That's what Blakk is saying. Scrap E-LEVY if you want to reintroduce road tolls. Blakk to government, member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okujeto Blakk has asked the government to cancel the electronic transfer levy. Now that the government is planning to reintroduce road tolls, dash it away. Do they care? Do they care? This is where we find ourselves. It looks like the whole country has overwhelmed this president. But he still says, by hook or crook, he will build that cathedral. His government size is elephantine. They are confused. This is the Blakk Pot, a.k.a. Kuku Show No More, where we speak truth to power. I want to say I love you. Remember, our YouTube page is Black Empire Media. Please subscribe to our channel and click on the notification button so you don't miss anything. Pick up our numbers on the screen, scrolling, and do business with us. What do you want to advertise? This is the show everybody's watching all over Africa and beyond. We are number 1. Pan-Africanism to the core. Blakk RASTA is the name. Hey! Wayo!